The world hates Korra. And no, I'm not talking about a handful of fans who just didn't like season 2 or the finale of Korra. I'm talking about the actual world of Avatar. The people of the Four Nations, or what's left of them, despise her. They see her not as a hero who saved the world, but as the monster who broke it. For years, we've been hearing whispers and seeing leaks about the next Earth Avatar series, codenamed Avatar: The Seven Havens. And while we've gotten bits and pieces, a massive new leak has just dropped, and it paints a grim, terrifying, and honestly, an incredibly compelling picture of the future. A future where Avatar Korra is public enemy number 1. I originally wasn't going to talk about this, but the demand has been insane, so here I am, and we're diving deep. A huge article from Night's Edge Media just dropped, providing a ton of context for leaks that have been floating around since as far back as 2024. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know the history. Leaks surface, everyone calls them fake, storyboards and concept art gets posted on like 4chan, they get called fake again, but then, bit by bit, official sources start confirming things. The name Seven Havens was confirmed to be real on the 20th anniversary of Avatar, the plot synopsis lined up almost word for word with the leaks, the San Diego Comic-Con rolls around, and the first look at the show is exactly what the leaks described. This new info dump comes from the same well. The source is an audience tester who confirmed that not only is everything in the Night's Edge Media Report article true, but they also provided even more fine-tuned details. Now, I just want to give a huge shout out to my friend the Avatarist for putting in the work to reach out and uncover these details from his sources, so go check out his channel in the description down below. Most of the things here are from him, and I really thank him for that. So let's get into it. The core premise of the leaks, which has now been all but confirmed, is that following the events of the Legend of Korra, the world suffered a cataclysmic event, an apocalypse, and the world points the finger squarely at one person, Avatar Korra. The world we're going to see isn't the bustling 1920s inspired Republic City, it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland, a world with heavy Mad Max and Dune vibes. One of the sources described it as miles and miles of sand, a desolate landscape where civilization clings to survival in isolated pockets like the fortress of Allura City. But this hatred for Korra isn't just some vague background lore, it's an active, festering part of the culture. The leaks for the very first episode describe a Korra hate parade. This is a direct and twisted callback to the Avatar Day episode in the original series where the town celebrated by burning giant puppets of Aang, Kyoshi and Roku. Except this time, it's not just one town, it's the prevailing sentiment of the whole world, or what's left of it. Imagine plays and propaganda pieces all dedicated to reinforcing the idea that Korra is a villain, and that she destroyed their way of life. Now, the source that Avatarist had told him that hearing conversations about these parades, with one man in the crowd complaining bitterly about how Korra destroyed the world, leaving them in a wasteland where there's nothing but sand for as far as they can see. This tells us two things. One, the propaganda has worked. The people of this world genuinely believe, with every fiber of their being, that Korra is responsible for their suffering. And two, it gives us a hint about the state of the world. The man says there's sand for miles and miles, which implies that at some point the sand ends. Perhaps parts of the old Four Nations did survive, and maybe the water tribes are still out there, or at least the ruins of their civilizations aren't completely buried. This opens up a huge potential for world building and exploration as our new heroes venture out into the wasteland. This cataclysm didn't just change the landscape, it changed the very fabric of society, especially for benders. In this new world, benders are nearly extinct. Let me repeat that. Benders are pretty much gone. The few children who are born with the ability to bend are seen as dangerous, rare resources. They are taken from their families at a young age and forced into servitude for the guards of Allura City. Their job? To fight against the violent energy storms that plague the outside world. I would honestly compare this to something like the Jedi from Star Wars. There are very few of them, they are taken in, or kidnapped depending on how you look at it, and trained from a young age, then deployed to serve the Senate, or in this case, the remains of the world, and the security forces of Allura City. And just think about how dark this is. This is something that Avatarist goes into. Bending, this spiritual, beautiful art form that was once an extension of a person's soul, has become a curse. It's rare, it's dangerous, and it's something to be exploited. This completely restructures the Avatar world as much as the cataclysm itself. This is a world without masters, without traditions, only servitude for the gifted few. This is the world we're thrown into when we meet our new protagonists. The story kicks off when a city guard named Jay comes into contact with a homeless girl named Pavi outside of Allura City. We learn something crucial about Pavi right away. She's an amputee and she's an earthbender. After an altercation, Pavi uses her earthbending to try and escape from Jay. He realizes by the law of this new world that she must be taken in and forced into servitude with the other child benders. And this honestly reminds me of the Haru episode where the old man ends up reporting Haru for being an earthbender despite him saving his life with Katara. Now the chase where Jay starts chasing Pavi leads them into some ancient ruins where Jay gets trapped. In a moment of desperation, Pavi is forced to use all 4 elements to rescue him, just like, of course, the Haru story. And that's when Jay realizes the impossible. This homeless, outcast girl isn't just a bender. She's the long-lost, mythical Avatar. We're told that it's been a long time since Korra's era, not just the 9 years since Pavi's birth. The very idea of the Avatar has faded into something of a legend, a scary story you tell your kids. Fairy tales. But fairy tales always have a grain of truth in them. Now, how can there be such a huge time gap? If Pavi is the next Avatar in the cycle after Korra, a waterbender, then she should be an earthbender born shortly after Korra's death, or pretty much in that exact same instant, just like we saw with Aang. How can there be a 9-year gap between the death of Korra and the birth of this new Avatar? Well, that's a huge change to the lore, but it may have something to do with how Vaatu and Rava, when this cycle was destroyed, when Korra destroyed the cycle, or you could say the cycle was destroyed if you want to be in a passive tone. There could be something there could be something that happened there to the cycle, who knows? Maybe Korra just didn't die. Maybe she went out into the wilds and just lived out in the absolute ruins where nobody knew she still existed because of how much she was hated for destroying the world either by accident or to save them. Nobody really knows, and we know avatars can live for a very long time, as we saw with Kyoshi. But back to Jay and Pavi, believing he has found the savior of the world, the one person who can fix everything, he brings Pavi back to his high command in Allura City, a man named Captain Karthik. Karthik is the leader of the city guards, the one directly responsible for overseeing the Child Bender Brigade. So Jay presents Pavi to him, surely expecting shock, awe, and maybe even hope, but instead he gets confusion. Jay says, "I found the Avatar," and Captain Karthik, a man raised his whole life to believe that the Avatar is evil, just looks at him and says, "How is that possible? Because I already have the Avatar." Enter Nisha. Now, if you already know about the leaks, you know who Nisha is. She's the twin of Pavi, but this would be a massive cliffhanger for anyone who hasn't heard the leaks, and people who are just like, what? 2 avatars? How's this possible? And Nisha is the opposite of Pavi in many ways. While Pavi is a homeless amputee, Nisha has both of her legs and has been living in relative comfort. She's described as being way more outgoing and aggressive than Pavi, always ready for a fight. She's basically Korra to Pavi's Aang, and she too can bend all 4 elements. So now we have 2 9-year-old girls, twin sisters, who can both inexplicably bend multiple elements and appear to be the Avatar. An early fan theory was that Pava had Rava and Nisha had Vaatu, and I actually think this makes a lot of sense. I think that if Unalaq had training while he was the Dark Avatar, or Vaatu was in him, I believe that was just another Avatar cycle. I believe Vaatu was just literally doing what Rava did but in reverse. Maybe the Avatar cycle would just be reversed. So if he had training, he could literally bend fire, he could literally bend air, earth, maybe even some of the specialist elements. I think that these are just 2 equals and opposites. Rava held the Light Avatar cycle and Vaatu held the Dark Avatar cycle, and they would just be going in reverse for time in memoriam, except for the fact that Vaatu was put into the Tree of Time. But anyway, we get more details with the reunion being fittingly explosive. At the end of the episode, as the sisters meet for the first time, an energy storm hits the city, which is, remember, the thing that these benders are protecting the city from, the ones that are conscripted, and of course spirit attacks. The source described the spirit as looking like a kite, very similar in design to Rava and Vaatu, but with white and gold color scheme. So who knows what this means really? Maybe these are the cousins of Vaatu and Rava, who knows? Maybe they have some different powers, we really don't know. But according to what the Avatar's source has said, we even see them both enter the Avatar state. Both of their eyes glow and they unleash a torrent of power. The spirit ends up kidnapping the leader of Allura City, and the audience tester, who is the source for the Avatarist, believes that the girls are going to have to team up to go save him. Now, what would be really interesting to me is if one of them had the Avatar state glow being red eyes, pretty much like Unalaq had, and the other one had the blue eyes, which is what the normal Avatar cycle has. That would confirm my theory about them being in opposite cycles. Now, apparently this storm and this having to team up is the inciting incident for the episode and for the series. The 2 sisters, reunited under impossible circumstances, embark on a journey with Jay to discover the truth. How can they both be the Avatar? What really happened to Korra all of those years ago? And to top it all off, they both have identical cat-monkey animal companions, Geet and Ruhi, both voiced by the legendary D. Bradley Baker. But that's the story: a hated predecessor, a broken world, and 2 young heroes who hold the key not only to the future, but to unraveling the twisted, tragic history of the past. The mystery of Korra's legacy is the engine that will drive this entire series. Was she a monster, or was she a martyr? Did she break the world by accident, or did she shatter it on purpose? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this little breakdown of everything we know about the series coming up, we still don't know when it's coming out, but hopefully soon. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you made it this far, drop a thank Mrs. Korra in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. And go check out Avatarist as well.